Well, so far it's all been rather civilised in here, in fact, but it's not always like that when politicians debate. Now, one local councillor has said we need to see more cooperation between the parties. The former mayor of Derby, Lisa Higginbottom, has resigned from the Labour group to stand as an independent. She says she's fed up with the bickering and fighting, which she says gets in the way of good decision-making and lets the public down.
Turn out the lights, the party's over.
I'm Lisa Higginbottom, I'm a councillor here in the city of Derby, and I'm fed up with politicians bickering. We spend far too much time in the council chamber allegedly debating when it's not actual debate. We're not debating policy, people are personally attacking each other, and it's just not good enough anymore. The problems that causes is that people don't debate issues, ideas don't come to the table, good ideas are turned down just because there was somebody else's from another party. We need to get the job done properly now. My views, not political views, but my views on how politicians behave was changed when I had the privilege of serving the city as mayor last year. And you do get a different perspective. I was able to work with people from all parties to get results, and that's why I made the decision to remove myself from a political party, because I want to get results and I want to work with everybody. I believe people are fed up of political parties and that they want people who are going to work for them, and they don't want people just to say I voted in a certain manner because I was told to.
Think of the electorate whom we are here to serve.
If the public said it was no longer acceptable to switch on the telly and see grown-ups arguing, if the public said we're not accepting that anymore, you need to be on the telly discussing things. As I've seen some sixth formers debate better than politicians. We need to stop making excuses for politics and say, no, it isn't acceptable anymore. It's not acceptable in business, so it's not acceptable in the chamber for people to bicker and make personal attacks. My message to politicians is to grow up. Take part in debate, don't attack people personally, get on with the job. Conduct yourself in a business-like fashion, the same as you would be expected to do in any other world of work.
You gotta fight for your right to party! And tomorrow starts the same old thing again.
Lisa Higginbottom, the former mayor of Derby, on why she's given up on political parties. But joining us in the studio, someone who thinks perhaps the answer is more parties, or at least his party. Mike Scott is from Left Unity, a new party which launched this week, aiming to offer voters a more left-wing alternative to the current lot. So, Mike, surely Lisa's got a point. The last thing we really need is more parties, surely?
Well, I think what we need is parties that actually do what people want. That's the problem. All the existing parties essentially represent themselves. They don't represent, certainly in terms of the Labour Party, they don't represent the people it was set up to represent.
So why do we need you and your party? Because
what we intend to do is to is to be a bottom-up party. So we won't be saying to people, these are the policies we offer, take it or leave it, like the other parties do. What we'll be saying is, what do you want? What do you think we should do? And then we'll be taking our cue from that.
So this is your fault then, this is the Labour Party's fault, John, because you don't represent the people anymore. That's why parties like this are popping up.
I think it's an advert for the new Monty Python. You know, the Revolutionary People's Party, the People's Revolutionary Party, the Party of Revolutionary People's Parties. You know, we've had these parties before. They've stood against me. They get about 10 votes, and that's democracy, and fair enough. But the real issues are who should be running the country, what should the policies be to improve the country, and it's going to be Nigel's party versus my party in the general election. Hopefully, we'll give them a good panning.
You must be loving this, aren't you, having these two sides squaring up like this, one saying they can do more than the other?
Well, I think John's right that it's democracy, and if people want to join a new party, that's up to them. But I don't think I would recognise this view that politicians in the main parties don't listen. I do a lot of listening to my constituents and seeing what they want. I mean, that's why I'm trying to amend the immigration bill to keep the restrictions on Romanians and Bulgarians. I'm even trying to talk John into supporting me on that. You know, a bit of cross-party work. So I think we do try and listen, but the more candidates, I guess, the merrier.
So what do you stand for then?
What
are your policies?
Well, Left Unity was formed basically following the film produced last year by Ken Loach, The Spirit of 45, about the welfare state, how the welfare state was formed.
Then.
Definitely not Monty Python, no. And yes, John was right in saying, yes, there have been a lot of these tiny little groups before that are indistinguishable from each other. We are not going to be like that. 110 odd years ago, the Labour Party was formed by trade unions and other organisations, and people said then, oh dear, they'll never get anywhere, the Labour Party. The Liberal Party is the party of ordinary people. And then by 1924 they were the government. We don't aim to be one of these small parties fiddling around the edges. We aim to be a mass party that will eventually replace the Labour Party.
And you can't deny there are a lot of disaffected voters. Look at the rise of UKIP, for example.
Well, the problem with disaffected voters is people abstaining, and that's what I'm attempting to do in my area, is enthuse people to participate and vote. And just last night I had a big group of young people, had 250 at a meeting, that's 18-year-olds last week, enthusing them, educating them, and also trying to persuade them to vote for me, and I'm very confident that they will.
UKIP have had their impact on your party too, haven't they, Nigel?
Yes, I mean, they've become a protest party on some issues as we're in the middle of this parliament, and I think what we need actually is politicians of all parties to be talking about the issues that really are concerning people. And I think the lady you showed in video, I mean, she's right. People don't want to see us. They don't want to see us squabbling. They want to see us talking about the issues that are most important to people.
Has that surprised you as a newish MP, all the bickering in the House?
Well, I think the problem is that if people watch anything of Parliament, it's PMQs, and you might think if that's what they watch, then perhaps that's how we should behave the rest of the time. But actually, most of the time, most debates are constructive and orderly, and we do try and debate.
You should watch me and Nigel in a committee. He's on the Tory benches. He says something sensible. I get up and back him. He's very embarrassed, and I call on his side to support me in backing him.
It's not really like that. It's not like that normally.
The truth is, obviously he's an evil Tory and I want to get rid of him at the next election, but he's a decent human being. He has some good ideas, and when he does, I back them.
I can't always say the same for backing John's ideas, I'm afraid. But yeah, there's occasionally a nugget in there.
But does the barracking and the bickering, in your view, does it get the job done?
It's absolutely awful. I mean, that's Monty Python. That's what we want to avoid. That is what most people think politics is about. And it's important, I think, that politics is reinvented so that it really does what people want. If you go around and ask people what they want and ask them which party is going to do that, they will say, by and large, none of them will. And they're absolutely right. More than half of the people who could vote in any election don't do so, either because they abstain or because they're not even on the electoral register in the first place.
So will you be fielding candidates then?
Yes, we will.
Well, so these guys should be worried then?
Well, we'll wait and see, won't we? But we are looking to do something new in British politics, something that hasn't been done since the foundation of the Labour Party. That worked out all right to begin with. We hope to be working out for rather longer.
Mike Scott, thank you very much indeed. Thank you very much.